guys, today we're making pickled magnolia petals. So my magnolia tree, we have a lily flora. This is the variety of these magnolia flowers. Most magnolias are edible. The flowers and the bark is medicinal. So we just want to remove the center out of all of these flowers. I'm just going to open those up, try and get them as full as you can. They smell absolutely gorgeous, and the bees do love them when the sun's out. So as you're picking them, give them a little shake just to release the bee that may be feeding inside. We want to get about 3 cups of petals. If you're out foraging, you probably like to pick the petals up from the ground. The pick varieties are nicer to use because they get a beautiful pink colour in the pickling liquid, but you can use white also. So I have a pot of water on to boil because we're going to blanch the petals in salted water, and this retains their colour and stops the petals from going brown, which is much nicer aesthetically, but also it creates the pickling liquid to be nice and pink. We're just taking these little middle pieces out. It's a beautiful thing to do at this time of the year, just as spring's approaching. There's so many different varieties of magnolia, so this can really be done with any variety. Their flavour, as just a petal, there's a little bit of bitterness there, but it's actually quite floral and a little bit sweet. So adding vinegar and sugar as a pickling liquid really brings out the kind of sweeter notes. We are going to add some fresh ginger as well. There is a note of ginger in there too. These ones are quite kind of rose-like in their flavour, which does impart into the pickling liquid as they sit. So I like to use my pickled magnolia petals as a ginger substitute. I mean, they really do look like the pickled ginger pieces already, but you can use that for sushi. They can go on any type of kind of Japanese, or they could even go in sandwiches. A beautiful garnish and topping. You could even stir some of them through some mayonnaise. The magnolia flowers in spring, but also has another flush just before Christmas. So if you do miss the springtime flowers, then just keep your eyes peeled on the magnolia trees. When they have all their leaves, they also have another flush of flowers, in December. Alright, so we have at least 3 cups of petals there. I'm just going to pop this in the sink. So I'm going to blanch all these petals in this hot water. So we put about a teaspoon of salt into the water. That just brings the temperature up, and then we're going to add our petals in. Oops. Get them all the way into the water, and we want to do that all at once. So this is blanching the petals. Push those there under the water. So that they're all submerged. going to let that bring that back up to the boil and then strain them off. In the meantime, I'm just going to cut a few slices of fresh ginger. I always freeze my ginger, makes it easier to cut, but it also keeps everything nice and fresh instead of shriveling up. I never peel ginger either, I don't find a need to, but if you would like to peel your ginger, go right ahead. So we've got a good few slices there. That's just to give it a more of a gingery flavour into the pickling liquid. Alright, so that's come back to the boil. Let's give it one more dunk under there. You can see that the petals have started to turn a little bit more purple. So we're going to turn that off. So just a blanch and then strain those off. We're going to use that for our pickling liquid. I just want to quickly put the cold tap over the top of these petals in the sink just to cool them down quickly, which also helps to retain their flavour. Colour, sorry. Onto here. So there we have the beautiful petals, and let's reduce their volume quite a lot. We're just going to give it a gentle squeeze just to remove any excess, just nice and gently. Remove a bit of that excess water. Okay. Let's check that's not going to sit in the water. Alright, so there we have beautiful petals. Just going to break those up, loosen them up a little bit. So I've also got some jars in the oven, just warming up, because we're going to create this pickling liquid now. Okay. So we have a cup of apple cider vinegar. If you don't have apple cider vinegar and you'd rather use white vinegar, feel free to do that. I like the flavour of apple cider vinegar. And then we have half a cup of sugar, unrefined organic sugar there, but use any sugar you prefer. A lighter colour sugar will work best so that you can see the beautiful pink colour. And now I'm going to pop our slices of ginger in there as well. So we're just going to bring this up to a simmer and melt the sugar down. There's back here. I've got my clean dry lids ready. Also just be careful there. And we also want to pop, I'm just going to turn that down so it's melting the sugar rather than going for a full-on boil. We're just going to put a teaspoon of salt into the sugar, vinegar, ginger mix. Almost there with melting that down. With the organic sugar, it does take a little bit longer for that to melt in sometimes. Put those in there. Okay. It is looking like all of that sugar's melted. A little look. Okay, so there. All the sugar's melted in there. And so we're going to pack these slightly squeezed petals quite loosely into our jars. So we want to pop them just underneath the rim line, because then when we pour the vinegar on, it wants to come right up to about a couple of mils underneath the lid, and then we're going to cap those. did a little bit more than 3 cups, so there's going to probably be a little bit too much for these 3 jars, but that's okay. I'll just warm another couple of jars up, possibly make some more pickling liquid. It's nice to do a few little jars just so when you open them you can get through a jar at a time instead of doing one big massive jar. I think they're quite well packed there. Now we're just going to pop a clean funnel on the top, and I'll just show you. They're a little bit warm obviously from the oven. Let's see, yeah, we just want to have those just on the rim there. It's hot as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is scoop up a couple of pieces of that ginger a little bit closer to the funnel. It takes a little minute just for that to go through into the liquid, and then we want to give everything just a little, I've filled that a little bit, so we'll just put that guy in there, and just give that a little press down, take out any excess. So when you're putting that through the funnel, it wants to go just up to the rim of the edge of the pouring part of the funnel. You can see instantly actually how just with that vinegar it's gone super pink. And it really does depend on how far you've packed your jar, how much pickling liquid you're going to get in there. So we'll just go for piece. Then a little slight push just to help that pickling liquid scooch between all the petals. Make sure you get any air bubbles out. These guys that I've already done, just a quick push down to make sure that they're very full. Oh. Now we're just going to pop the lids on. These lids are more of a pop, and you just tighten to close. If you go too far it breaks the seal. So these are nice, clean, fresh new lids. It's really important that there's no rust or dirt on there when you're preserving. I'm just going to put one tiny little bit more of the pickling liquid on that one. I was very, very full, so just check that there. Put the lid on. Okay, give that. And then you have it. Beautiful pickled magnolia petals. I've been making these for years and they're absolutely gorgeous. They make really beautiful presents, and it's just a really beautiful way to honour the springtime coming after this long dark winter. I hope you make them sometime soon. Enjoy.